Good afternoon, early afternoon on a Saturday. We're not usually here early like this, but welcome everybody to the Rock and Roll Union Streamcast. Really special episode, guys. We're excited to be talking to Junkyard Drive from Denmark, man. Kick-ass band that I came across and thought that their music was just incredible. And thanks Spotify. That's one of the good things about Spotify is they can actually shrink the world a little bit and see other flavors from elsewhere. Chuck, welcome, man. How you doing,
man? How are you? I'm good. Great to be here,
dude. So I'm really excited to talk to this band. But a quick shout out to our sponsor, Rosenfeld Dental Associates, located at 1095 Inman Avenue in Edison, New Jersey. Go rock your smile with the Rock Doc. Dave Rosenfeld, nominated one of the top dentists of 2023. Mention CT McManus, Rock and Roll Union. You'll get an incredible discount upon booking your first appointment. Also wanted to say a big shout out to Island Craft Company. If you're looking for any kind of rock jewelry, those kind of things, custom gifts. He does movie, I don't want to say props, but what would he call them? Movie lookalikes. He does a lot of those. He does a lot of different things like that. So reach out to Island Craft Company on Facebook, and they'll be happy to hook you up. But guys, it is my pleasure now to welcome the boys from Denmark. Please welcome Junkyard Drive. Guys, thank you so much for taking some time out of your evening. It's 6 p.m. where you guys are. It's noon here. But thanks for taking some time out to hang with us for a little bit.
No, we're happy to be here. We're so happy to be here.
Man, I gotta say, I came across your music, and for some reason, with us here in the States, it feels like there's so much incredible music coming from that part of the world right now, from Denmark or Sweden or other areas in that. How does it feel? What's the music scene like in Denmark? And is rock like prevalent? I mean, here in the States, we've kind of minimized it, but it sucks here, honestly. How is it there?
Well, it's not much different, to be honest. I not in Denmark, at least. Sweden is experiencing more of a new golden age, and the same with Germany. And so I mean, and naturally also we seek to be there a lot as well and to tour there because the audience is bigger there. Apparently, it's not as much a big thing, but I mean, like we're here now, we're playing tonight, and we're at a festival, and so there are these initiatives and people who still want to listen to it, and it's a strictly rock lineup tonight. So of course there's a following and people like this genre, but somehow it seems still a bit quiet here.
Yeah,
man. Chuck, you got something that?
How long you guys? What inspired you guys? What bands got you guys started?
Oh well, we have a lot of band we are inspired of, but we are mostly inspired of the big heroes, Led Zeppelin, AC/DC.
You'll find Guns N' Roses in our music as well.
Oh yeah,
the newer stuff you'll be able to find things like Rival Sons a lot in there, more blues inspired, more roots in music as well, and which I'm super excited about. But I feel like the Junkyard that is available to all of you right now is, as Klaus is saying, it's very much the big guns out there.
Yeah.
Man, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit of sorry for trying the Wonderland of Temptations. Now, that single, I just watched a video before you guys came on, and I really had a lot of questions as far as the inspiration for that song. To me, I kind of saw a parallel between that and Skid Row's In a Darkened Room. Kind of reminded me a little bit of that. I lost two brothers to heroin overdoses, so I kind of related that. What went into that song and the writing and everything behind that?
Well, it's written by Christian, our lead singer, for like first and foremost, and in Junkyard Drive, and it's relevant for the lineup as we are now. We all seem to be facing some sort of demons all of us, and it might be substance abuse, it might be anxiety, it might be mental health, all these things. But it's exactly that, as you're saying, right? And this one taps into this. Well, I guess it's based on the idea of substance abuse, but it's having this place of euphoria that is not good for you, and that is not good for you, but also that you somehow can't seem to really to get yourself out of. And I remember talking to Christian about the general sentiment also being one of hope, right?
Yeah.
It's a question, like maybe someday. And I think that's really powerful. Like, I'm even getting chills just talking about it now, because I mean, you will find the odd rock band making a big deal out of taking care of oneself now and again, but I feel like within the genre, it's also it's sort of part of the deal that you're also rowdy, and at some point, for some people, that's just taking a turn that is really hard to come back.
Yeah.
Man. Chuck.
Yeah, really sorry to hear.
Sorry.
No worries.
Have you guys ever been in the States yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went on a tour there in, was it 2016, down in Texas and Florida. We have 3 or 4 shows, and then continued down to the Mexico.
Oh, nice.
And played some shows there.
Did you guys get received well here?
No.
Really? Surprising, because you're pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
were you guys on a festival, or was it a?
No, it was some small local clubs.
Okay. Yeah, that's tough sometimes.
Yeah.
Tough all the time.
Small local clubs.
It's rock and roll. That's what.
Rock and roll.
Man, and that's kind of like what we're battling right now, which was like the first question I had for you guys, as far as the Denmark and Germany and the European side of rock and roll. But as far as playing to empty clubs or playing to 5 people in the crowd, we see a lot of that here. Believe me, we see a lot of that here.
Yeah. The majority of it.
And are there many places to play where you're at, or do you guys? I mean, my wife was born in Germany, and she always told me that it was easy to. You guys go through countries like we go through states here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That everything's that close together.
Denmark is a very small country.
Yeah,
very
small.
Yeah. I feel like you could probably fit like 15 Denmarks in the state of Texas, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wow.
I'm shit at geography, so like don't pin me up on that. But yeah, and so that in mind, I actually think that the frequency of or the ratio of like venues per capita is actually is pretty big.
Yeah, it's pretty high.
Awesome. Yeah.
Pretty high.
There's a big interest in keeping culture alive, and it's being subsidized like hell also, in terms of like having a government that is like pro culture. I mean, it's been better, and there are definitely some more conservative powers at play at the moment, but looking throughout the rest of Europe, like we're very fortunate to be a Danish band. Yeah.
Man, now your first album came out in 2016, and within the past 7 years, guys, we must have seen 5 end of the world type scenarios that just been bouncing from here to there. How do you guys maintain going through the popular culture or going through history as it's being written and rewritten every day, as far as staying tight as a band?
Are you pointing to like world disasters like COVID, or the fact that
stuff like COVID or other things happening?
Yeah, wars and shit like that. Yeah. Well, I mean, we're artists, and our job is to describe not necessarily what's happening, but what is happening is making us feeling, and so to some degree, it's giving us food for thought. Like it's the very basis of why we're here.
Yeah.
Of course, things like COVID and like that makes it really hard to go out and be an artist and a touring artist. But we made it. I mean, we made it happen, and we were also joining the wave of online gigs
and some streaming shows, and try to find a way to get our music out live in some way under the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely made it difficult.
Yeah, it did.
But I mean, the spiritual part too. But then then that's if that's the ingredients that you have to make food with, then you better just it's the story of the pizza all over again. It's like, okay, we have to make do, and look what came out of it.
Yeah.
Guys,
Now,
I really dig the Michael Jackson cover. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was really good.
Now, who brought that to the band? Who said, let's try this one out?
Yeah, well, that was our old guitarist Burke, who has sat down with the guitar and was like, hey, and tried to play some stuff, and then he figured out, oh, this is the Michael Jackson riff, but he played it more bluesy than Michael Jackson songs did it. And then we thought out, like, okay, let's try to make the cover. And then we did it in the studio, and then our producer Soren said, you need to get that out. And with all the timing, we thought, okay, let's release it on Michael's 10 years anniversary of his death. So, but it came out and it went pretty well, actually.
Did we ever play it live? So I'm one of the new kids here
okay.
So I haven't played it in my life.
No, we have never played it live, actually. It's just, it was a kind of tribute to Michael and his music, and that's why we did the cover.
Now, is there a reason why you guys never played it live, or is there any hope that maybe you guys will?
I'm not so sure if we're going to bring it to the table. I mean,
no, it's like choosing between all your children, like which one are going to present Junkyard Drive live best when we play.
But you never know.
Yeah, you never know.
It might happen one day, and or else that we'll play. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Like, do I see it happening? Not so much, but
maybe we should do a by request tour, and all the answers Michael Jackson.
Looking to make a whole tribute album.
Yeah.
So, have you guys thought to do any more pop covers like that? Anything like along those lines to change stuff up? Did a really good job with that.
Thanks. I know that we're planning on doing a lot of acoustic tributes.
Nice.
To sort of also see, one thing is what is happening when you do the high octane rock and roll thing. But let's put it to the test. Let's see if this band is still a band when we strip it down and we're just one man and a guitar, and see how much we can get out of that. And I think that's really interesting. And there's a bunch of really, really beautiful songs from an array of artists out there that I, for one, would really, really like to do our take on. Yeah. So that's really, really exciting.
I don't know if you guys ever heard there was a series of albums came out called Pop Goes Punk, and it was all covers of people doing exactly what you're saying. Different various bands on the albums doing their take on pop songs.
Yeah. There was a bunch. There was Pop Goes Metal. Pop Goes. There was a few. They were awesome.
Oh, cool. I like that. Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you guys, first album came out in 2016. Last album came out last year. You guys have really shown a level of maturity as far as songwriting, as far as other things are concerned. You guys started out very young, and you guys are kind of basically growing up with the band. How would you guys say that you've changed from the beginning to now?
Well, from the beginning, we were 4 or 5 guys that just wanted to prove that in Denmark, the rock and roll genre wasn't dead. So we keep pounding, and suddenly more and more bands around us came up. And of course, there were some bands that were bigger than us in Denmark at that point. But now we are one of the only rock and roll bands in Denmark at the moment.
Wow.
In our league, of course, we have some more higher league bands that still are going on, but we are kind of the new age, and we saw an opportunity there to do it. It's like, okay, we need a new age of rock and roll because
we gotta represent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, there's a big heritage of sound and struggle and history out there that we want to represent, and also we just want to have a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, for Christ's sake, it's rock and roll.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. I understand what you're saying completely, because that's a lot of the reason why I started doing what I do as far as making rock relevant again and bringing it out. And there's so much to go through. There's so many bands out there now, so much, like everybody and their sister is playing music at this point. We're trying to get attention somehow. It's hard to find bands that are out there. I came across you guys on Spotify and I was like, man, these guys are incredible. And it's not like our local radio stations represent a whole plethora of other music, new music coming in.
No.
So do you guys find frustration in that area where you're at as far as trying to get out there? We're trying to market yourself?
Ideally, like we would have a system where the radios would work based on exactly what you're talking about, getting the new music out there. But it's just not the case.
No.
And with all the there you need to know a very select few people, and you need to know them really well to even get considered. And also radio wise, the representation of rock and roll is very limited to like the very few rock and roll stations that we have.
Yeah.
And in Denmark, that counts one.
Yeah.
We have one radio station, right? So we'll be put on there, and then we were really successful with Geordie as well. And when that came out, we also saw some airplay on some of the more broader radios. But also considering that the radio stations in Denmark are also targeting an audience that generally is so young that their favorite genre is not rock and roll, it's really hard to even get considered.
Yeah.
So are we frustrated? Yeah, I guess. But do we also try to put our attention and our work and energies like places where we feel like that energy is going to be put out better? Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And it's just another game. Like it's just another game. It's times are changing, and I see with the music biz, it's like on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Like we really need to keep our head in the game.
Yeah.
To even like to like not even to just like get ahead of others, but just not to fall behind.
Yeah. Yeah, to stay in the game.
Yeah.
Man, now, one thing that I noticed with your music, and I wanted to know if it was intentional, because it's something that you don't get very often anymore, is I love the guitar-driven rock and roll. It's like what my favorite type of rock and roll is, as far as guitar solos, as far as bridge sections are concerned. Just the way a song is composed, you don't really get that very often anymore. Is that something that you guys find to do intentionally as far as that guitar-driven sound?
Well, yeah, it's from the first records and the Black Coffee and a little bit of Electric Love, it was mostly guitar-driven songs. But the more album came, the more we grew on the musical experience on how and where should we hit, what audience would listen to this, and all the thoughts about writing the songs were more and more considered more albums we get through.
Yeah. And I think also like it's just the case that process shapes the result. So we're like the main songwriters of the past albums have been guitar players.
Yeah.
So of course that's gonna shape the final result. So intentionally, well, we are a rock band, and it's also sort of expected of us in so far that rock and roll should contain guitars. But also, I think it's just also happenstance. Like you sit and noodle around with the guitar, and you're like, "Oh, this is cool. and then that's you go with that.
Yeah.
I've been kind of keen on asking you, for example, to like come up with stuff and make that the foundation of some of the new material. So that might be the case that in future, on future albums, we will see that kind of stuff happening. Yeah, I think that answers it pretty good.
Where'd you guys come up with the name?
What?
Where'd you guys come up with your name?
You answer that.
Well, that's we are at a festival and people are asking us small questions. That's why Oliver just went off. Well, when we came with the band, we're really rock and roll ish because our singer and one of our old guitarists went out for some few beers, and we're just standing outside looking at it. Sounds romantic, but standing looking at each other, and then one of them says, "Hey, what about Junkyard Drive?" after 20 beers or something. So it's the drunkiness about it that came with the name. It's like, hey, that sounds cool. Let's keep that.
It's pretty good.
Oh yeah. Now,
So,
as
we thought it was sounding good, and then we kept it.
Man, great name. And I wanted to ask you guys, as far as we talked earlier about keeping that rock alive and keeping it transitioning to the next generation and passing that torch, do you feel that there's anyone in the current scene, whether it be locally where you're at or internationally, are there any artists you feel are helping to keep that rock and roll going?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we're like guys like the Swedish band Heat.
Yeah.
And we were also touring on a cruise in Switzerland. We saw people like King Zebra and Sweet Needles, French Sweet Needles.
Yeah.
Are definitely. I mean, they're not exactly what we are,
right?
Which is cool too, right? But we're all in the game to preserve and to continue the heritage and to make something new and to make the music that we all love.
Man, and my last question for you guys is: the album came out over a year ago now. Are there any upcoming recordings or anything we should be keeping an eye out for as far as Junkyard Drive is concerned? Are you guys doing anything currently writing wise?
Well, we're I'm not sure exactly how much I'm allowed to say, but let's just say that we're very excited about the coming time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So there is something to look forward to as far as Junkyard Drive.
That's your words, but I'm definitely not saying no.
Now, are there schedule-wise, what are you guys looking at? I know you're doing a festival today. What else is coming up?
We have the 5-year anniversary of our album Black Coffee coming up on the 2nd of September. We're doing a very special show commemorating that album, celebrating our little baby, and trying to mix some things up, bring a few surprises, stuff that you may or may not have heard before. Slight alterations, small Easter eggs in there. I'm really excited about that show. And then we're doing a gig in Germany, and then I think actually it's starting to look a lot like Christmas. I was about to say, but yeah, we're gonna enter another phase of this whole being a band work. So.
Awesome.
We won't sit. Well, you will have to sit tight while we keep our asses busy, but not necessarily with being on the stage. So,
gotcha. Looking forward to that. Chuck, you have anything else you would like to say?
No, man. Just keep the spirit of rock and roll alive, guys. I love the authentic sounds. It's refreshing. It was nice chatting with you guys. It was pretty awesome. I look forward to it.
Likewise.
Guys, thank you so much. Have a kick-ass show today, and look to talk with you guys in the future. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
Likewise.
Cheers.
See ya.
See you guys.
All right, guys, that was Junkyard Drive, man. Really, really kick-ass group.
Very cool dudes too.
So we just got a comment that says too many bands, supply has surpassed demand. This is from Tom George, my good buddy Tom. Investors are becoming less interested. Until investors come back, the music industry will continue on trends. It's a tough thing because no one's investing in it because there's really not much money to be made in it.
Yeah, there's no, like, almost none.
There's no point in investing anymore, which is, like, unfortunately, I mean, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. And here we go with this conversation. This is, I guess, what we'll talk about. But as far as the industry is concerned, everything is done so cheap. So it's a good thing, bad thing, because the good thing is you get to see these bands at the top of their game live. Like, everything is on the stage now. Everything is live. Getting people out to the shows is crucial. But it's bad on the same instance because the bands aren't nowhere near making what they're worth.
Yeah, not at all. And it's like I said before, that it seems like we're all fighting over the same little bit of crumbs that are left, you know, in the music industry, locally and even, you know, globally. As far as like big label bands, and there's like no money. There's no money.
Yeah,
nobody's buying anything. You know, it's like $10 to have a Spotify account. You're $12 or whatever, and you have the option of everything. There's nobody buys anything. It's sad.
And here's the problem with it. So bands aren't going to refrain from putting their music, even though they know that they're not getting paid hardly anything. Bands are not going to refrain from putting their stuff out on Spotify.
They have to.
But there's unending criticism, rightfully so, on the bands not getting paid through Spotify. Right. So what is the plan of that? I mean, if you are a band and you don't put yourself out on Spotify, you're killing yourself because people are going to come to know you.
It's the only option. It's like, you know, it's totally monopolized pretty much with Spotify or Apple or one of them. And there's no money. I mean, even the cost of recording an album is, I guess, probably cheaper than it used to be, maybe, but still, it's through the roof. You know, it's still not cheap.
And the other thing that sucks is you get these kick-ass bands like Junkyard Drive, or a band that they mentioned, Heat, love Heat, or Crash Diet, or you get some of these other bands that are over in Europe. They won't come here because there's no money to be made here, so you'll never see these kick-ass European bands on American soil.
Yeah, I can't imagine, you know, it's hard to push your band from being in America. You know, it would be hard to push the Bad Motherfuckers in America. I can't imagine pushing somebody from, you know, Denmark, or like nobody goes to see anything anymore. It's sad. It's sad. Yeah. There's no thirst for like new stuff or finding, you know, the next thing. It's the same shit. We were saying about radio. I swear the radio plays. It's like 1994.
Yep.
You know, we've never left this certain era, but the handful of songs, I guess, going into the 2000s, which are fucking terrible. You know, we're talking about, like, I mean, awful bands, you know, and now there's like nothing. There's no new anything, nothing.
Every once in a while you'll get a darling like Hailstorm, or you'll get a single that comes out from like Dorothy, or some other, just a hint of things here and there. You have classic bands that are putting out albums. People want to say they're nostalgia acts, but they haven't stopped making new music.
Right.
The radio just doesn't play it.
Speaking of, have you heard the new Guns N' Roses single?
Yes, I actually liked it. I liked the video, I think, more than the song.
I didn't watch the video, but I heard the song on XM last night, and it sounds like Chinese Democracy.
It does.
You know,
the video goes back to what we talked about last show as far as the camaraderie in the band, because it's shot at it's shot like a live video. So they show a lot of that interaction on stage. They're showing all the various members of the band, not just Axl, Slash, and Duff. So that's why I say I like the video more than the song.
Yeah, I have to check out the video. I caught a little bit of it was 3 Chords and the Truth, I think it is, or something, on XM, and it was Duff, McKagan, and Susan, and they played that and a bunch of stuff, but you know, I just, like we said before, who wants Chinese democracy era, you know,
Yeah.
GNR, you know, but they said that they wrote it this year though. I read an article that said that they wrote that song this year, which doesn't sound like it to me.
Well, everywhere that I looked said it was a Chinese democracy era. You can now get the song off of Spotify. It is available on Spotify. Looking at it now.
Yeah, I could have swore I saw an article that said that they wrote it this year.
So
which
I can believe they maybe reworked it this year, but it definitely sounds like Chinese democracy.
Yeah, it certainly does. Certainly does.
And as far as we're going to cut it short today because we're not usually here on Saturday mornings just waking up. My eyes are still peeled against my forehead.
Yeah.
But man, so how's things going with the open mic, and how was this past week?
Going well. I actually didn't make it this past week to Casey Ray's, but they had a pretty good turnout. Getzinger was there. Crazy Ellis. They had a few good artists come out. I saw some video and got the Monday morning quarterback edition. But this week, I don't know who we have featured, actually. I'd like to get 4130.
You know what? Those boys rock, man. They were on the show Wednesday. If you guys missed it, you can go back and look at it now.
I just watched it again last night, the episode, and those guys are awesome, man. I'd like to get them out.
And this coming Wednesday, we have Getz and the Jetties on. That'll be a good time.
So do we have the whole band? Do we have Getz and the Resonators or just Getz?
As far as I know, we got the whole band.
Yes. Fantastic.
So, yeah, well, it'll be a good time. But I think we're going to wrap this up for now. Chuck, thank you for waking up with us.
Oh, yeah. It was a good start to the day.
Guys, got some kick-ass shows out tonight. Make sure you get out, check out some live rock and roll no matter where you're at. And Chuck, anything else to say?
Keep rock and roll alive.
All right, guys, don't just leave it. Leave it better. We will see you on Wednesday. Don't go nowhere.
Peace.
Bye.